Hello again, everyone. We got another episode up and running again, and I noticed you see something different in this one. I have a guest star, and he's right over there, or on my left. I'm not sure how the videos go. But no, so I got Mr. Sack with us today, because I thought I'd try to do something completely new with our video recordings. Party of two instead of party of one. I'm sure there's a song about that. So, yeah, not that type of song either, so we'll try and keep it Peak 15.
Yeah, let's keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Yeah, no fucks whatsoever. Shit. Oh, so we're trying to do something new. I'm bringing in guest stars. So, as for a lot of you people who've been keeping up, so we know who haven't been keeping up, I'll say, we know a lot of things happening. So, we had all our releases. We had all the crazy Dark Angel stories coming out. We then got Wordbearer Praetors. And then we just got Soul, and then it kind of disappeared. Then we got now we're back to waiting for the book whenever it comes out. Which that's going to be still exciting when it comes around. Until then, everyone's been working on a week challenge. So if you not know, the week challenge has been we do 5 models, do it within a week, and everyone starts showing off. I would do that right now, but I have reached the cruel dilemma of actually painting all my models before buying more. Whoever thought that kind of smart-ass rule would now come back to bite me. Yeah, because you'd think so all those people who bought more models, now they are the smarter ones. I hate that. But yes, so we got Zach on board. He actually took part in this week challenge, and if I haven't put a picture somewhere roughly about here now, there are actually some Smurfs he's done, which I've kind of toyed with him for weeks now about being a blue boy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been painting like random stuff. I paint non-GW Heresy stuff, and I just saw 5 models, and I was like, I started the Salamander army just before all this lockdown crap happened, and I was like, I'm bored of green, so I was like, you know what? Let's paint some like generic and just nothing of really, because I did do them a while back, but then I was like, oh, I'm really bad at this, because I do have a model which I painted years ago, and I realised how bad it was because I didn't wet down my paints enough because I was young, and now I've learned my mistakes.
I like your concept is that, well, I'm bored now, I'll paint something generic. Most people would say, I'm bored, I'm going to paint something exciting.
I'm the opposite of most people, I think.
I'll be boring instead.
Well, it's just
so I've actually seen the Ultramarines. Actually pretty well, really nice painted, especially on the blue. Because normally we've seen like your salamanders, and sometimes they're good. We sometimes see the brush strokes, but these actually come up pretty clear this time.
Well, it's just because I watched a different channel called Geeks 40K, I believe it's called, and he did Ultramarines, and I was like, you know what, I like the colour, I like the simplicity of it, because he only uses 3 colours for his gold and his blue. So I thought, you know what, we'll go. I've actually got the paints, because after weeks of not being able to paint. So.
No, that's pretty cool, because I know I've hit a lot of videos, and like, they come up and gone, I have put us 10 steps on just this knee pad alone. And I'll be like, sitting there going, fuck, I love to be as dedicated to that, but I can probably get through maybe 3 before I then skip 4 of them.
Well, that's the thing for me. It's the fact that, like, I know a lot of professional painters, they buy like tons of paints and they have like the entire range, and I'm like, I'm not that rich. I'd love to be, don't get me wrong, but then I'd be like, I want to buy more models than paints.
Yeah, I kind of turned into I'm just like turned Frankenstein with this. I got like the amount of different paints I have from different companies, and then I'm being a complete dick to like John and stuff, because I have John Mars who talk about he's painting, Nick, where they paint in a particular method, and I'll be sitting there going, you could do it with different paints,
Yeah.
Well, like, these paints, you could get that better tone. Well, I'll toy with the airbrush method, and
if I hear about the airbrush one more time, I'm gonna go nuts.
But it's so simpler.
For anyone who doesn't know, every time I talk about with Steve about painting models, he always says airbrush, and then he says use this gold, use this blue, and I'm like, just let me paint. Just let me paint.
Apparently, I'm an evil person if I give people ideas.
Well, it's like when you ask people for ideas about how to game, because you and I are big gamers. Like,
oh yes,
being in lockdown and not be able to game is a nightmare.
Yeah, I've reached that level now where because of lockdown, I now criticize the gaming, the battle reports we see. So like when we had that recent talk where we watched the 30K channel, and there was the battle between the White Scars and the Sons of Horus. Both great guys. Well, one of them I know has been an alright guy, and the paintings are also just as good. But when you're just watching the battle report, there's a part you want to sit there and go, "You evil tosser."
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you and I have been to many events where we've seen people, and then like, I'm not saying that people are bad and people are good. It's just pet peeves that I have personally. Like,
but you all actually are horrible people, and you know who you are.
It's just the fact, like, because I bring because Steve will know I play like I've bought Thousand Sons. I basically made them to be a tournament list, but then I've downgraded them to be a balanced rather than this, because Thousand Sons, if anyone knows, are disgustingly powerful. Certainly, in a tournament I recently went to, we weren't allowed Primarchs, we weren't allowed Praetors. It was just generic characters like Centurions and stuff.
Yeah, for people who don't know, that was the we most normally take part in the Road to Melos campaign. Pardon me, shit there. But the Road to Melos campaigns, which, if you guys don't know, they're run by the Road to Terror podcast team there, Max and Phil. Hi guys. Yeah, so they do some campaign runs. We were actually there last year for their previous run, where it was ran in Holmfirth. I can never sure if I'm pronouncing that area right. Land of Hills.
But it was the fact that because obviously thousands, every unit apart from generic troops and stuff have psychic powers. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Objection Manicor. Now I can't even say it.
I give them fancy nicknames. If there's something complex, I give them a fancy nickname.
Basically, all the weapons get hot, and they take a hair away.
Fuck that one, yes.
Doesn't need to hit. So I had like 4 units of Setmech Terminators all having the same power, and I had a Storm Eagle coming at me with a full squad of tactical marines with close combat weapons, and I was like, that thing needs to die because I can't take it out any other way. And I got all 4 powers off, took it down, it exploded, killed all but like 2 guys, and I just, don't get me wrong, there's part like I'm that type of player who just wants to have a laugh. We've been to tournaments where we've actually told people to re-roll morale checks when it's really an expensive unit and it's just gone off the board.
Oh yeah, I remember those. I was a very best play. I was a very supportive character. Insert angry video here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just
no, in those exact terms. I was like, I went last time we went, and I had the I had like bad luck where you could tell that this should not happen.
Well,
but anyway, it was a very great campaign. So we had down there. Zach loves to do most of the painting on that concept. So now he's trying to do the Blue Boys. And we just had to do the recent talk about the likes of the Caesarean Guard and about what the other usual Smurf items we get the hands on.
You're to be honest, because me and Steve were discussing a list, I was only ever planning to have 10 of the Guard in. I've actually made a list with 20 of them in, with a Spartan and 2 Land Raiders. And then just because they all have packable advance as well, so they count as troops when scoring. And then just for background scoring, I've got 3 units of tactical marines. I couldn't work out a rite of war, so maybe someone can actually give me help of which one to do. But it was like I just picked like Pride of the Legion, and I was like, you know what, I could be really douchey and just bring heavy armor and just go. Yeah,
I think if we do like Pride of the Legion, we probably don't want to use Pride of the Legion with a tank heavy list because as we mentioned about that 30K channel, and we've seen that battle report and how well that went.
Very true. I mean,
well, it's all been in lockdown. We don't know how long it's going to take for things to chill down. I think I like to imagine a lot of us will feel a hell of a lot better the instant, even if just online orders can start flying in. Because I think even with online orders coming in, I'll gladly just buy a fuckload of virtual stuff, bang it on this table here, and just work on it until, like, you know, at least I can start getting a game going at the very least.
I think
because
that's the thing, though. It's the fact that, like, there are some companies who do dispatch, and I'm going to give a shout out to Element Games right now because they are actually still delivering. Whereas, like, Games Workshop has literally, I think it was a post the other day who were like, we're going to open some of our stores, but we're going to run them as food stores, like, only a certain amount of people in, certain people out. The only problem with that is, that I find is, one, most Games Workshops are in city centres. And if most companies do that, where they're opening, you're just going to have queues of people just lining up everywhere. And
no, I know.
Go on.
I know, like, a couple of the shops I can actually think in the top of my head that could do it. So, notably, like the likes of Stockport and Manchester could do it now because when they got relocated, they were a little bit more on the sidelines more than often. And so for instance, when you look into the Manchester store, and all they have now is a Pizza Hut next door, and you know Pizza Hut's not going to be open unless they win a delivery service.
I think it's also the fact, though, that a lot of people, what they do when they go into Games Workshop, certainly people who have never been before, they browse first before they think about it, buying anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I understand GW staff have to do this. They've been told to do this, they're trained to this, where they ask you, what do you feel about this? And then they try and give you a different option. Or they agree with your option. The other way, more likely. But it's the fact that, like, the last thing you want to do, certainly with everyone because we've been in lockdown, 5 weeks now?
Something like that.
It's going to be a lot of people queuing up, and then they're just going to get annoyed at each other because they're waiting long periods of time just to pay for a product.
I mean, they could try and do like an old McDonald's thing, you know, where you get the one person who has to go through the line and say, "What do you want? Make a list. What do you want? Make a list," and then just have bags on ready just to plop on the table and be like, "Here you go. Pay up. Fuck off. Here you go. Pay up. Fuck off."
I think the problem with that, though, is you're gonna, like, it's a good thing they keep them in the store, but then you're just gonna have, because all the GW stores, as far as I'm aware, have all shrunk now, apart from like one or two, where like Stockport used to be really small.
Yeah, because that got the improvement, and then like the Manchester one shrunk a bit. We know it shrunk, guys. You can't deny it.
It's just the fact that, like, I mean, a lot of people, certainly in lockdown, are probably like, certainly those in relationships are just like, who don't live with their partners, go, I can get all my painting done as much as possible, and this, that, and the other. And like, all I have to do is give my girlfriend a call or something like that. I'm completely opposite because I have a missus. I'm like, I have time to see me painting, but I really want to see my partner at the same time. And then you've just got all those other, like, people who are like really, like, cause I'm dedicated to the hobby, but not to the point where I want to spend every waking minute on it. But then you have people who are like, I've got to get all this done.
Yeah, those are the lucky fuckers who actually still have a load of models spare. The ones who don't have any models and still waiting when they're like, parents of your family's going, you could do this. I'm like, I used to do that when I was thinking about painting, when I was painting. So, yeah, so hopefully soon. I like to imagine maybe, I like to be positive. I like to think maybe a week or maybe even like another 2, we may get some more updates. We may start seeing more people's hobby works into things. And in the meantime, I can continue to make more videos and get up to more crazy shit while we're on these. So now I know this works. I want to try and see if we can get more people in, get more stupid crap on the go, and I can continue to like belittle Andrew's Space Wolves while I'm at it. Play Silver Tongue with John, Sean, and all the other guys, and be like, you know, you want to play Heresy. When did you last play 40k?
We've known each other for 11 years nearly now. How have I survived? No one bloody asked me that question. But it's the fact that when we started out, because when we first met, we met in Games Workshop because we started playing against each other, and you had your bluish, whitish Marines.
Yeah, a lot of fuckers who continue to still try to say, You had Ultramarines, and I look at them and go, bitch, can you not see turquoise and blue?
Whereas I played Orcs, and throughout the years, obviously, like, we've seen a lot of changes in Heresy, in 40k and Heresy, where, like, 40k went up for a bit, like, when, I think it was 7th edition, like, a lot of people were playing, everyone was really enjoying it. And then as soon as...
I think it's more, I want to say somewhere like 5th and 6th was a bit where everyone was like, okay, this is all good.
Yeah.
7th edition, I want to say it was the kind of like, it was a very, like, steep hill point, because that's when they started introducing in the likes of the formations, which that one was a particular grind against me and like another friend, Dave, because we were both Dark Angel players who were then being told, you're not allowed a Deathwing army.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. We're not allowed a legal Deathwing army. Before I rephrase that, because you had to either unbound it, or you had to do an unbound list, so that meant you throw the whole structure out the window. But or if you did have Deathwing, you had to add some Dark Angel scouts to the mix, and then it's not really a Deathwing army anymore.
Well, that was the problem as well, because, like, back then, if I remember correctly, you could only ever put 50% of your army in reserve back then. So,
yeah, and then that's in there going, oh yeah, by the way, because I'm not sure if you remember, the Deathwing one was an absolute nightmare, because what happened was everything had to be in reserve. Nobody had the first turn deep strike. They even specifically said your drop pods couldn't come in first turn if you had the Deathwing thing. So it's not like you could even drop pod Deathwing dreadnoughts into and then try and stay around. It was like, nope, they have to wait. And it's just so that was like, you mean I can't come in at all? And you know the rule back then, if you weren't even on table by turn 1, you were initially already eliminated.
see, that's where, like, Heresy and 40k differ. Like, this is why because when we went to our first Throne of Skulls, that was 3 years ago now, I think it was.
It might have been, yeah, because we had the doubles and we were under the team name the Emperor's Originals.
No, that
because we had the custom. Was it?
That was last year. I meant the one where we went 3 years.
Oh,
it was when you played against basically 2 knight armies. When our mate Rowan went with us.
Oh, yeah.
It took me Blood Angels for the very first time, and I was like, oh my god, how's this going to work? This is when the Blood Angels rules first came out, where they
were in Retribution with small rules, like along with White Scars and Dark Angels.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
I had Day of Revelation, Rite of War. Well, right, now, wait. Day of Revelation. It was the Rite of War for Blood Angels, which you have to bring all troops, compulsory troops as assault marines, and you must have at least 1 fast attack. Now, I brought 4 units of assault marines, a fire raptor, which I thought was a fast attack, bit of a shot there. Then I had like a master of signal, and then I brought the detachment of militia, which, let's be honest, back then no one knew how they worked. It was very confusing at the time.
Oh yeah, because probably to make it worse, because you had them under the because they were under allies as well, so it probably made things a little bit more complex back then. So because I remember some of the tales, like you had that one game where you were against the Iron Warrior player, and they just like dropped in here Perturabo and like the bunch of siege tyrants behind you.
He dropped Perturabo on his own.
Solo per
in front of militia, which was actually quite hilarious. And then he dropped, I don't know why, because at the time I had 2 plasma predators with blast.
Oh yeah.
No, they both had power machine spirit, so we thought, if I drop my Terminators out, I can kill the Predators and then deal with the rest with my Terminators. Unfortunately, that's not how it went. He only glanced twice against one of my Predators. And so I had 6 plasma cannon shots at this squad of Terminators, which were all in a perfect ring, and I didn't miss once.
Oh, yeah, and by that point, you're just seeing it as it goes. I actually remember having a chat about this with guys online, because we were joking, because one of the guys wanted to get like one of those, we get those nice light effect cotton wool things that make, they represent explosions.
Yeah.
Somebody's done like the proper mushroom cloud version of it. I think some people are like, oh yeah, just put on something simple. And my idea was, there you go, Primark that never makes a charge. That's a combination of devastation and rage.
I mean, that's the thing though. It's the fact that I love looking at Heresy armies because like people do put a lot of effort into it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With the paint expert, I don't see myself as an amazing painter. I just see myself as some guy who can do the basics and make it look slightly nice and neat. Obviously, the days where like I'm tired. Why am I painting? I should really stop, and then I don't stop, and then I wake up in the morning and realize what the hell have I just done. But then it's the fact that like we've seen armies where like they haven't put the effort in, and it's like certainly when you and I have seen an army where it was just sprayed with tar paint that was just like silver, and when you looked at
I remember actually seeing something that was actually a lot more horrible back then. Actually, it's one time I had a brief walk around in Element. I think Sean was down there as well. He was playing his 40k games. But somebody did I think somebody used Siege Demons, but to use like those, I don't know the name of them. They look like the wires where they have the fuzzy parts around them.
Oh.
But they literally it's just a combination of that, just twisted around to be flamers. And this is the guy who's trying to spam like flamers as siege and put those on the table of Eldar of all things. So you can imagine that for the most part, I'm looking and going, how do you even get improved? Somebody should be dead and like getting a fist on and going, no, just fold these fake flamers flat. That's probably been the worst one, the worst example of lazy work I remember seeing. Weirdest one will still be that Drago Wing Army back then, but with My Little Pony toys, the Grey Knight parts slapped onto them. And I was the team partner next to him. And all I could remember back then was thinking, yeah, they're going to take him out. I'm completely safe. And not because he's a Drago Wing Army then.
See, that's one thing though I do love about like when we've been to Warhammer events, like at Warhammer World, when we went to the Road of Terror. I personally like, certainly for me, not being as rich as much as most people who seem to be able to buy Forge World armies. I'm looking at you.
I just save. I do precarious saving and commission paint. All that sweet commission work. Pay for my hobby. Pay for my addiction.
It's just about that, like for me, because I bought the 40k set met Terminators, and I was like, as much as I prefer these because the more Thousand Sunny and stuff like that, I was like, I can't afford to just pay 50 odd quid for 5 models. So I've had to ask like Warhammer World when I wanted to go to the event. I've asked the Road of Terror guys when we went to the Melos campaign, and thankfully they were really nice about it and went, yeah, sure, as long as you specify what they are, that's fine. Whereas you do have picky people who are like, no, that's not WYSIWYG, that's not this. And it's like certainly between the difference between Tartarus armor and Cataphractii, the difference between them is like the smallest issue. It's literally the shoulder pad and maybe the helmets, and that is it. And I'm like,
I'll give the legs as well because we gotta remember Cataphractii is just like bigger, fatter version of iron armor. So, and basically, and much like Tartarus armor is supposed to be bigger, fatter versions of the Mark IV armor. So though you can't, at least if you're picky like I am, I would be quite distinctive. So like,
never.
I always find it. Well, it's like, I've already had my plans for it anyway. So speaking of Terminator armor. So my plans was I'm already planning like until I'm waiting for the new book, I'll spam like loads of different alternative HQs in armor. So one of my cool ideas is already to get the Gabriel Angelos model. I'm already going to make him into a Deathwing commander of sorts. I just gotta obviously I'm not taking the face though. The muffin mouth face I'm keeping out.
Primaris armor. He's in Primaris.
No. That fuckwit made him Primaris. He wouldn't be Primaris on any of my watch. Last thing I wanted is to have Marines wearing Crocs.
I mean, I always see Primaris as like, I'll probably get told off for saying this, but The way I see Primaris is the fact that if anyone's watched the second Star Wars movie where they like, because I got told the fluff, I didn't read it myself about how Primaris was created because they were created during the Horus Heresy to beat back the traitors.
Well, yeah, we were there, and the Heresy was like, no, you weren't. You weren't there at all.
But it's the way they're created, and all I just picture is like the second Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones, where you have the people from Camino go, if you need more, it will take time to grow them, and it's like, really. And then when they're going, oh, they have no errors or like fails in their
Oh, that was probably the biggest. That was probably the biggest drive-off was when they still start playing this. Oh, we don't have the problems like all the other guys used to be, and now they had to quickly go. Oh yeah, by the way, he's suffering from this now, out of nowhere. It's like
it's the fact that like there was no way you could incorporate the rules for say Blood Angels where they have their Black Rage, they have the like blood things and stuff where they go, oh, we're intercessors, but we don't benefit from the chapter traits or anything like that. And it was like, what is the actual point in taking you guys for a Blood Angel army?
Oh, well, it's when you feel sorry for a White Scarf player because the White Scarf player goes, we specialize in bikes, Primaris range. What are bikes? I think
Raven Guard with Shrike, the new Shrike model. Don't get me wrong, I do. The models for GW are really nice, and don't get me wrong, they do try and do that.
The creative stuff is great, but some of the design concepts have been very questionable. There's times now where I look at the jump pack guys, and they try and make it out that these guys can come out from orbit, but it's just that weird thing where if I see an assault marine deep striking, I imagine that really hardcore meteor-like landing with a short burst to not drastically destroy his legs, and then the superhuman power would just shrug him off. I look at the new Primaris jump pack, and all I can see is that I gotta be careful. And then I'm safe.
Which is like,
meanwhile, and I'm looking at it and going, by that point, anyone would just shoot you down while you're there going, I gotta be safe. Okay.
But that's why I love Horus Heresy, because a lot of, I know you can probably say hindsight stuff, because obviously this is before the 40k universe, so it's like you can kind of give them an insight, but it's the fact that I know a lot of people complain that it's Space Marine on Space Marine.
Oh yeah, that's like everyone's favorite argument, but nobody else can give you a better argument over that. Whereas I could throw a lot out to 40k right now, so things like, for me, the Primaris army takes away what was the unique thing about 40k. It was a grimdark army, but somehow for guys that are just still using like tracked tanks and the most bog standard stuff, we're still an elite form of Marines. We're still an elite force. Whereas now I see the extensive use of grab stuff, and all I can now picture them is just another generic sci-fi form of army. Because nearly every sci-fi force has an anti-grab stuff. That's why I thought the Space Marines back then were unique, because it wasn't like all the others. They weren't all mimicking the same, look, I can float too, and this stuff. But instead now it's just, look, we all float. We're making terrain, the purpose of terrain, that even less valuable, because it's just, that's for me anyway. I think the grab in Primaris should have been reduced a lot more again, because that's why the land speeder was unique, because it was the only one they had in their range.
Yeah.
And also the recon guys, seriously, they look like hipsters with Crocs on. I really find them looking so stupid with that look. Otherwise, and I'll only give this as my only positive form I give to the Primaris, the basic armor. I like the basic armor, and then that's probably about it.
That's the thing. It's the fact with Heresy. It's the fact that every legion has their own specific rules. No rule, apart from one or two, is duplicated. Like the Space Wolves have run and shoot; they can advance and shoot. You have Word Bearers who have psychicness, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to remember some more. Because
you get the rival wars as well. To me, the greatest, and this is probably the greatest thing about the greatest flaw I found in the 40k was just there's too much. Yes, you can, and not enough of you can do this. However, there's this other side of the coin which gives you this flaw. And that's where I think what was the problem with the 7th edition as well, because that's where it started. They added formations in, and everyone goes, where's the catch? There isn't. And it's just like, then where's the challenge? Where's this point where I have to plan a count against something that might draw me back? And it's none of that. And nowadays, I look at this system, and because it's so heavy on command points, the worst part is once you run out of command points, you're a generic army, because the idea is apparently those stratagems is what makes your army interesting. But once you run out, you're just another army. You're just another blank slate.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of stratagems are the same for every army as well, because like you have some that are like charge 6, you have some that are like fight again. The thing that I love about Heresy is the fact like everything needs to be planned out. I don't like people who math hammer. I don't like those people who go strategically. If the mathematics say if I shoot this, it should die. If I don't do this, it should
I always picture them with a calculator whenever they're playing, and it's just like, hang on, divide by this. Okay, I should be good. No, maths has betrayed me.
But it's like in Heresy, there's only certain ways you can get rerolls. For example, like chaplains, they reroll in combat in the first turn. You have some psychic powers that allow you to do it. Whereas in 40k, it's I've literally seen a game, if I'm honest, where I've seen someone bring Gilliman and a lot of Marines, and the other player bring Gilliman and a lot of Marines. And it was like, this was before Gilliman got his update, so he only rerolls ones to him, so basically becomes a chaplain. And it was just, it wasn't a game. It was just a case of who shot first. The only thing that can actually go, you fail your invuln, or if I roll a 6 on a D weapon, you're dead. They're the only things that can do it. It's like, for me, you and I have played many games over the years. And you bring your Falchion, which is an annoying piece of equipment. Sometimes
which is cool. It's a cool tank, but sadly, it never made its points up half the time. It kind of like it does a little bit of annoying nuisances, but in an overall, you sit there and go, it barely even made a third of its own points up half the time. It's why now the glaive is in progress. Hopefully, the glaive will do me much better.
But it's like, even if I bring, say, Magnus, who has a Nova power that can be strength 10, it's only AP4 though, and this, that, and the other. It's the fact you still get your invuln, no matter what. Don't get me wrong, we played a game where Magnus dropped down in the middle of an army and basically went, oh, I'm going to do this power. I killed a Rhino, 2 Contemptors, and a Leviathan in one go. So Magnus made his points back, like, way over. But that's the thing, it's like, the way I built my armies was the fact that I'll start it off as OP, and then I'll do friendly. Because I used to play, when I first started, Orcs, which, let's be honest, I think everyone can agree, Orcs have never been high on the competitive scale.
As well, I'm thankful, the only time I had to drop anything, that was probably again 5th edition Green Knight, when they were at the peak.
Oh yeah,
that was the only time, and I remember selling those to Ross a long time ago. It was like, yeah, Ross, take them away. They're too horrible. I can't do this anymore.
Well,
and even like, so those were also funny days where Fearless never actually transferred to the unit. So you always had like that one Fearless character, being this powerful character who's Fearless, being dragged away by his friends because they didn't want to take any involvement in it. Also, the kiting. Kiting was the most hilarious rule I missed back then, because it was just like, here's this unit. They have to go towards the nearest model, and you're there with a land speeder going. Whoop, 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 whoop.
But that's the thing. It's the fact that Heresy is built so differently to 40k now. It's like the fact that, going back to the legions, it's the fact that every legion runs differently. Like if you play World Eaters, you want mass squads of guys. If you play Blood Angels, you want jump packs. If you want White Scars, you have bikes. If you want Imperial Fist, you have anti-tank most likely. Iron Warriors are pretty much the same, but they have different varieties. It's like Ultramarines, good against everything.
Yeah, oh god. And if you were black armored in that edition, you were hated.
Well, that's the thing. It's the fact that, I'll be honest, like I painted Wordbearers was my first ever Heresy army, and I went to the original paint scheme for the word bearers, which was grey and silver. Everyone took the mick and called them Iron Warriors. But it's...
We know who says that a lot. We're looking at you.
But it's the fact now, it's like... We've been, like, because like I say, we've been to tournaments, we've played tons of games against people, and everyone runs their army different, which is so nice to see. There is no, you build this way, you're going to win. It's, because I played a Centurion game now. I'm sure people, like, probably know what Centurion games are, but it's, like, it's infantry only, it's dreadnoughts only and stuff like that, small map points.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt really bad, because when we went to that Road to Terror Melos campaign, I had played one Centurion game that entire weekend, and it was against a Raven Guard army that the only anti-tank it had was metal bombs. And I had Leviathan. Now, this is the only time this will ever work for anyone, is Leviathan with 2 Grav Flux Bombards. And he took out squad after squad after squad, and I felt so awful for doing that.
I didn't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry about my campaign, those anymore. Especially since my first game was... let's see if I can remember. It was 2 Leviathans, 2 Contemptors, and 3 Assault Marine squads. And it was that Rite of War where if you had a Assault Marine squad deep strike within 12 inches of one of your units, it forced you to snapfire, which was just like... And it's not even like if you were shooting at them within 12. It was just, they have to be within 12. They somehow forced you to snapfire. And you're just like sitting there going, why? It's just why? And I remember the poor guy who the guy who was running the event, and he was trying to keep me positive and going, you could maybe do this, and I'm like looking at going, I was just for all those that time I was just like, no, I can't do this.
Well, that's the thing. It's the fact in like everything has its job to a certain extent. Like it's not say 40k where everything can wound everything. Like a Titan can be wounded by a guardsman with a stab. It's the fact that like in my Thousand Suns army right now, you'll know this. I don't have I have specific anti-everything. Like I have chain fists for tanks, even though they don't work out half the time. I have power axes for infantry, and it's the fact you have to use your mind to actually work out what could happen. It's not 40k where you just go, oh, if someone attacks me, I attack it back. If it dies, it dies. It's I have other units that can do the exact same thing. It's like 40k is like. I know a lot of people do get annoyed with, if they lose, an anti-tank unit, which they know kills something. But that's the problem. It's the fact that if you have something that's specific anti-tank, it's like when we did our doubles campaign at Warhammer World, it was the fact they brought rapiers for anti-tank, and we took them out with heavy bolters. It was the fact that some can overcome Summit. But then you see people who are like, oh, I've lost my best unit now, I give up, I'm not playing, and it's like, come on, man, you've come down all this way to come and play games, and because you've lost a unit that you love so much. I understand everyone loves their paid armies, I understand everyone puts a lot of effort into it, but it's like, it is a game at the end of the day. It's the fact we all pay money, we all take our time out of our lives to go down and play with people who we think are going to be like us, who should be like us more than anything. But then you've got people who go, oh, I don't want to play anymore. And it's so frustrating to me because I'm like, I've been playing since I was 13 years of age, and all of that. I'll be honest, it's one of the communities which I have felt truly involved in. And then when I see someone get really upset about losing a game, I'm like, you're letting me down.
Well, I'd say it's a tough one because sometimes people, and it's a so weird one because sometimes you get some people like that. But then there's also some arguments where people go in and they want to come in and have a game, not to be flipped around, thrown around the table, shagging their girlfriend or sister on the side, They don't want to go in and be like, this is how hard you're taking me out in the game, wise. But we'll try and take it, we're going to wind it back anyway, so we wanted to keep it in heresy related. We talked an awful lot about 40k. We hit like a 40k rant there, so we're rewinding it. We're going to bring that heresy love back. So it's a weird one because you did Word Bearers Army, so I'm not sure which is bad timing because I know you probably would have had those Word Bearer Praetors in your list, or those new models that you posted out.
Personally, it depends because it depends on the rules, restrictions, and everything like that. For me, it's the fact that one of the things that used to annoy me because I used to bring the Dark Brethren, which was the Rite of War where you basically, it was all right. It wasn't amazing, but you had that rule where basically on a 1, 2, 3, everyone gets preferred enemy against you. 4, 5, 6, that unit gets preferred enemy against everyone. But it's the fact that it was that Rite of War where all your independent characters got preferred enemy loyalists. So if you didn't play against loyalists, you were kind of in the dumps. But it was like,
oh, so if you had ever had to fight Rowan's Mechanicum, it was like but am I really loyal? It's like Mechanicum being in that gray area. It's just like there's no dice roll for gray area.
well, last thing, it was like loyalist and militia and solar auxiliary. It was like, are you classed as loyalist or are you classed as traitor? I always had to ask people before we started playing because I was like, if you're a traitor, I'm gonna lose a rule, but if you're loyalist, I don't.
You ever imagine going to standard tournaments and they go, "Are you loyalist or traitor?" And you go, "I don't know. What are you?" And you're just like, you look at them going, "I'm clearly traitor." Or are you? It's like, no, stop it.
But going back to the Praetors, it's the fact that one of their rule specifics is they have to have a Diabolist and a chaplain. I always brought Erebus, as much as I hate the guy for his fluff wise. I know everyone does. Trust me, if I throw him into combat just to see him die at that point. But it was the fact that he's a Diabolist and a High Chaplain. So you just need him, whereas instead of spending 200 or more points on 2 guys, you can have 195 or something like that for him.
That's when you Photoshop the title to "Everyone Hates Chris" to "Everyone Hates Erebus." Put his face on there.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's the fact that, like, I appreciate the bringing out Praetors for old legions now. I appreciate that. It's just the fact that a lot of people brought the generic ones, like the ones with the Terminator one.
Oh, yeah, the one where it's like, was it you got the Praetor, the Archaeotech pistol and his sword down, and the other one was what is he? I can't remember what other gun he had. I think he also had a Volkite charger, but now I can't remember. It's one of those but he is one of those models where it's one of those few models that survive very well over the ages, because there's like some models and they survive for a good bit and then they turn ugly.
Well, it's just the fact that, like, there are some legions that need specific Praetors more than others. It's like Salamanders, for example. They're like, unless you want him to have a Storm Shield, you have to buy the Fire Drake set.
Yeah, because we know they're working through the list now, at least, I suppose. So, like, we got people who are still waiting for their own special Legion-specific Leviathans, which may come into terms, though. Like, we know, but I have seen, at the same time, I've seen people who've made a very good conversions, which they do look impressive, though, where some people took in, like, a Space Wolf Contemptor, and they just like the Leviathan sides to the side of those models.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll hopefully get those soon. We also seen Mr. Solital, Tarfis, so I'm giving him nicknames on the go, which is an interesting one. I'm kind of curious how that sniper rifle is going to look, though, on him, because he's got a nice sniper rifle, but we don't get the full 360 view on him.
Yeah.
We're hoping soon, because I'm very certain now with all these Twitch videos, they're probably like exhausted what stuff they're working on now, especially like the likes of 40k and Age of Sigmar, which have exhausted their Psychic Awakenings. They already blitzed through the High Elves before they even came out, and the Giants of Bellabel, or Belly Bell.
Well, that's the thing. It's the fact that, like, because everyone's on lockdown, and trust me, I think everyone's getting to the point, certainly, like, for example, me and anyone else who's doing hobby, we're running out of paints, we're running out of models. As much as, yes, I understand that everyone, let's be honest, people who are living together, who pretty much, like, live together already, is probably like, I want to kill someone right now.
I think we'll call off for now, because we've already hit a solid 50 minutes. Some bits I'll have to make edits.
I think we went too much off on a tangent, but I think...
Well, I'll probably cut some bits down, so I'll find out our cool points. A lot of this I'll still edit anyway. But
the fact that, like, the glory of doing videos like this is because we're on lockdown. It's something to do.
Yeah. So, well, I'll change some bits around. And I think what I'll just do is we'll point out what we're doing next time. I'm hoping some point I'll continue to do more of these group recording videos, maybe with even more people. You know, see how well see if it's possible with what tech I still have, because I'm still working everything from a mobile phone here, so it's still in a way it's still limited. But I want to try and see what we can do there, and I'll just leave it up with, you know, everyone have fun, be safe, apparently drink a lot of bleach. Apparently, if you're hearing from the West, you know, or actually, you know what, use Mr. Muscle's pipe cleaner. Apparently, that stuff's a magic killer on there. Expressing on the term killer.
Apparently today he said it was sarcastic. Apparently that's what he said. Apparently he was being not serious.
I'm very certain Erebus sarcastically told Horus that you will not turn into a traitor if you go on that planet.
It's just so funny. And I mean, the world's already gone so mad in the last. Like, he knows who he is, and the fact I've watched the news quite a lot, and I'm like, how is this guy in charge of anything? It's like Erebus in charge of the heresy. It was like he has no idea what he's doing. He's not a Primarch, yet he's the one calling the shots. What is wrong with you?
Well, yes, hopefully, guys, we'll make a much more structured video this time, because we did have notes. I just wasn't smart enough to put them on a paper next to me. I wasn't smart enough to put a piece of paper next to me.
I had 4 lines on a piece of paper, and I'm like, all it was my paint scheme, and I did not structure anything. Even though we said like 3 days ago that we were going to make a video together, and then I was like,
well, rule one, first videos are just fuck around videos, so we know how that works, and then the next ones are structured videos.
You know, they say 2 meters is close enough. You're not close away. Get away from me. Even 2 meters is too close for you. Stay away. You're like the other end of Manchester, and I'm still feeling too close to you.
Oh, but that's all to keep people close to me, deep inside. Yeah. We'll end up the video there.
I'm creeped. This is where we call the video, because I'm creeped out already too much.
Right. Well, hopefully see everyone for the next video. And yeah, keep us cool.
Bye.